I want to say right at the beginning, this video is a special one to me personally, not only because it's so much fun to shoot modern air guns like this Marauder, but this was my dad's rifle, and he didn't have it very long. He got it, right now it is July, hence the heat out here, July of 2021. He got this in about February of 2020, and he enjoyed this rifle, I think our whole family would agree, as much as he enjoyed any material thing in his life. Not that material things were the most important, but he really loved this. He was well known for helping out with the squirrel pest control in central Utah, killed many of those, so much that over on this left side where his thumb would grip it, the finish is worn completely off, and he really loved it. But just a few months after he got it in July of last year, out of nowhere he was suddenly diagnosed with a very terminal brain cancer, and he passed away just 4 months later. And he left this to me. Emotionally, it was very hard to accept, but here it is, and the kids and I have been enjoying it, and I decided it's time to do a video, not just to share the gun with you, but as a special little tribute to my dad. So, let's go into the loading process of this Benjamin Marauder Field and Target. The Marauder uses 10-round 22 caliber magazines, comes with one, and then I've got a couple more. And to load this, what I'm going to do is turn this clear piece all the way around until it clicks into place like that. And these pellets I'm going to use are the JSB Exact Jumbo Diabolo 15.89 grain domed pellets, and this gun seems to really do well with these. So you can see there's a hole right there in the magazine, and I'll drop the pellet dome first down in, using my finger on the bottom to hold it in place just until I move this over to the next hole, and then that pellet will stay in place on its own. Now I just drop the rest of the pellets in until the magazine is full. And after I load this last pellet, the transparent piece just clicks back into place and it's all loaded up. Alright, so we've got a magazine loaded up, and I actually went ahead and loaded 3 of them, did the other 2 off camera. And before we put the magazine in the gun, let me just give you a little tour of the rifle here and its features. Starting at the back near me, has a rubber butt pad, and as you'll see when I shoot, there is no, at least virtually no recoil whatsoever with this gun. But it's nice to have that, at least gives it a good, solid, secure hold on your shoulder. Has this adjustable comb, which is nice. You can raise that up and down to your needs. Then obviously the nice wood stock. I'm not sure what kind of wood that is. I'm sure somebody will leave a comment down below. Up here you've got the trigger, metal trigger, and it's a 2-stage trigger. Feels very nice just as it comes, but I believe it is adjustable as well if you didn't like it. Has a manual safety right here with this to the rear, that is on safe. Forward is fire. We'll just leave it on safe right now. Up here underneath the stock you've got a air gauge, and right now the gun has about 2,800 psi, and it fills up to 3,000. And great thing about this, it's not like the old pellet guns you pump up 10 or so times and then get one shot and then pump it up again. You just fill your cylinder up to a maximum of 3,000 psi, and then the gun just works as a bolt action rifle, and you can shoot quite a few times. This particular Marauder is the Field and Target model, and it is regulated. So there's a regulator inside the gun which makes all the shots the same until your main air cylinder here gets so low, which happens at about 1,500 psi, maybe even down to 1,000. But when it gets that low, then there's not enough air to fill the regulator up, and you'll start seeing your power decline very rapidly. Then it's time to air up again. And I will show you the procedure for airing up the rifle when we get to that point. But you can get, I would say, probably 60 shots or so, maybe more, before you need to refill the gun with air. Well, anyway, so there's the air gauge. I pointed out this is the air cylinder, nice long cylinder there. And up on the end, as you'll see in a little bit, under that cap, there is a male Foster fitting for a quick fill-up. The barrel is fully shrouded, and you'll see this gun is very, very quiet. Backyard friendly for sure if you live in a place that allows it. I'm out here on my parents' private property in central Utah. We have plenty of open space here, so it's fine. But make sure you check your regulations where you live before you shoot something like that. And like I am here, make sure you're well away from any homes or anything. Well, anyway, the gun is 22 caliber, and as you saw, 10-shot magazines. I said it's bolt action. Up on top, I've got here the Hawk Vantage side focus scope, and this is a let's see, I believe 3 to 12 power by 40 millimeter objective lens. And I've also got a mount on here for a side shot, which allows me to use a phone to film through the scope, and I'll let you see that in a little while. Well, anyway, now that you've seen the gun, let's get it loaded up. So I will pull the bolt all the way to the rear. Magazine just inserts into the side and clicks nice and firmly into place. Close the bolt. Safety's still on. Let me get on target here. And I'll just take, I'll shoot 5 shots, then we'll take a look at the target. So take the safety off. My bag isn't quite tall enough, but I'll make do here. Let's see what we can do. You know, let's just shoot all 10. This group is looking pretty good. Target's 25 yards away. It's a pretty good distance to shoot with an air gun. It's so quiet and no recoil. Obviously, it's a real gun, needs to be respected. It feels like shooting a toy. It's really enjoyable to shoot. No ear protection, as you can see, it's just fine. And that's it. And after you fire the last shot, it will not allow the bolt to go forward, so you don't end up taking an extra shot and wasting air. Now let's go have a look at that target. Well, not too bad, I would say, for an air rifle. From the center of that hole to the center of the farthest one, just a little over 3/4 of an inch, maybe right about 3/4 of an inch. So that is obviously very accurate. And it's nice to have that regulator on the gun, because without it, you get a little bit of a bell curve in performance. And I'll talk about that when I do the video of the Gamo Urban air rifle I have, which is not regulated. Well, let's go back to the table now, and I'll show you a little shooting through the scope. Well, I don't think I need to keep convincing you that the gun can handle 25 yards. That little metal squirrel out there is 50.1 yards away, according to the rangefinder, and that yellow kill zone on it is only 1.5 inches wide. Let's see if I can hit it if I hold over just a little bit. I can't tell if that hit the kill zone. It may have flipped back up. There it goes. And down below, there's another yellow paddle that should reset it if I hit it. Oh, didn't quite keep it in place. Got a good wind here now. Hold just a little for that. Oh, too much. There it goes. See if we can't hit it again. Sure enough, I'd say it's a good 50-yard gun as well. All right, well, now I've got the chronograph set up about 20 feet in front of the rifle. So let's see what kind of velocity and energy I'm getting from this Benjamin Marauder. That was 811 feet per second. I'll shoot 5. That was 806. 812. 812. 808. So the average velocity among those 5 shots was 809.8 feet per second with a spread of only 6. Honestly, I don't know if any of my firearms can shoot that consistently. And at 809.8 feet per second, the foot-pounds of energy with those JSB 15.89 grain pellets is 23.14 foot-pounds. That is extremely respectable. So if you need a gun that can handle, small game hunting and do it very quietly, this rifle is amazing. I know my dad really loved it. I really love it too. But now, why don't we get out of the heat and I'll show you how to refill it with air, because our gauge has gone down from that about 2,800 PSI to about 22. And that's with me doing the shooting you've seen and what I've done off camera. So let's go fill it up. Now, I'm aware of 3 different ways to do this. One way that's very popular because it's the most economical is to use a hand pump. Now, this is not just your everyday pump for filling bicycle tires. This pump goes up to a maximum of 4,500 PSI. Now, I used this for a while after getting this gun from my dad, and this is what he used the whole time that he had it. And I'll tell you, it is a workout. And by the way, if you don't weigh, a certain amount of weight, I don't know if you could even do it. I weigh, almost 240 pounds or so, and I still have to really put all my effort into pumping down on that, especially when it gets up past about 2,500 PSI. That really takes a lot of pressure to run these guns. And so I would have to pump it up for a bit, and then I'd sit and take a breather and come back and pump it some more. And I just decided enough of that. A few weeks ago, I decided to invest in a tank to fill my gun. I went over to Utah Air Guns in Orem, Utah, and I picked this up. This is a 74 cubic feet, 4,500 PSI carbon fiber tank. So I can just hook that to the gun, no workout for me, and it just does the work for me. Now, whether you're using the pump or the tank, it has these little Foster fittings. This has a plug in it right now. That's the female end, and if I unscrew this cap on the rifle, there's the male end, and it's the same over here on the hand pump, so it's either way you go. And the third method that I didn't mention yet is a compressor. Now, I'm not talking about your shop compressor that you use for your air tools or filling tires. My shop compressor goes up to about 130 or so PSI. But remember, this gun goes up to 3,000, so that's not going to work. And the compressors that do that are very, very expensive. And so what I would recommend is the tank. Now, that's expensive too, but nowhere near as expensive as a compressor, and this is so much more portable. So let's go ahead and do this. I'll take the Foster fitting here, just pull down on the collar of it and attach it to the rifle. And of course, the rifle is completely unloaded. And right here on the bottom is the gauge, as you remember. So let's go ahead and get it filled up. All I have to do is just open up the valve very slowly and carefully and let the air in until I get up to the pressure that I want. So you can see the needle is at about 2,200 PSI. And I'm going to fill it not quite to 3,000. It's a very hot day, and you have to remember that heat, especially the sun beating down on the black color of the air cylinder, is going to give you a little pressure for free. So let's just go just about to 300 PSI. I'm slowly opening the valve. There you can see the needle go. So much better than hand pumping, I'll tell you. Give it a little more. I think right about there should be fine. And with a tank, that is all there is to it. And just one other thing I need to mention is that at this point, I should not just disconnect this hose from the gun, because the hose here still has the same pressure the gun has, which is almost 3,000 PSI. So it could be pretty dangerous to unhook that. Over here on the tank, there is a bleed screw, and if I just open that up, that just let all that air out of the hose. So now I can safely disconnect it. Well, I do really hope you've enjoyed taking this look today at my dad's gun, the Benjamin Marauder Field and Target model in .22 caliber. I've really enjoyed showing it to you and really enjoyed doing this video that was a little tribute to my dad. And I know that he would love to see this, as we did talk about doing a video together before he got sick. I really regret that that didn't happen. I'm glad I could at least do it here for you today, though. Please don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos. And as always, if you look at the description, you'll see where to find me on social media and where to find great Guns of the West products. Thank you so much for watching.